For the first time ever, I'm looking to start buying and holding and renting out some properties. So I'm currently on my way into Blackpool in the northwest of England. There's a couple of properties there that I'm really keen on, that I really want to buy. So I'm going to have a look at them, see what we can do, and bring you guys with us to have a look around them. Yeah, okay.
I mean, we just,
Yeah.
There's a small and warmer.
Yeah, and you've kind of got that open plan feel where it's all the way around the stairs.
Is there something? I know
Okay. So it's this open plan. I'd like to turn the second reception room downstairs into an extra bedroom. But so far, looks okay. So that one was a really interesting property. It was huge. They've extended it out to the side and they've extended it out to the back as well. So it's a huge property. It's currently 4-bed. It could be turned into a 5-bed and maybe rented out room by room. But I think in terms of a rental, that would be the only way you could really maximise your return on it. It's quite an expensive house. It's on the market for 200. There is another house on the market that has sold for about 300, but it is a bigger house and it is in better condition. So I do think that once we'd renovated that, the max value on that would be about 275, which is fine, but we'd probably need to be buying this for about 175, putting in about 30 grand, 35 grand's worth of work. To then look to make 40–50k profit. So we'll have a look. It's also worth exploring. So that one, it's a bit strange. So one of the rooms, the bedroom door was tiny and the whole building just seemed a bit out of whack. I was really excited about coming and seeing this one. It's a 6-bed house. No, it's 5-bed with the potential to be 6. It just didn't quite make sense. And I was a bit sceptical when I pulled up. I could see that the front of the house had been rendered and the back of the house had been rendered. But it hadn't been painted, so it's still that kind of brown render, which made me just think whoever's bought this, they've come up against a problem. They're halfway through a renovation, come up with an issue, there was some kind of structural damage, and they've rendered the front to hide the issue. And just binned it off and they're getting rid of it. Now that might not be the case, but that is just my immediate concern. Looking around, it does look structurally okay, but they've also wallpapered all the inside, so any cracks that were there, you can't really see. Don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Saffron? You think halfway through a refurb?
Yeah, halfway through a refurb, yeah.
It looked like they were going bottom up.
Bottom up, yeah.
As you got higher up.
As you got higher up, the worse it got.
Yeah.
When we first walked in, I was like, yeah, this is actually all right, this is going to be good. And then every time we went up another flight of stairs, I was like, gosh. I don't know what I think. Do you know what I'll probably have to do? I'm probably going to have to get a builder out to give me a quote on what it will take to get it to the right kind of standard. Now, I know that we can get good rent on it, but sometimes investing away from where you live is great because you can just crack on with it and it's just based on the numbers. Sometimes, like now, when I've driven down the street, the numbers make sense, but maybe my emotions are getting the best of me because this street is not that good. And that's putting it politely. It is in a bad way. It's just put me off a little bit, especially with the botched refurb. I don't know, I'll just have to work it out. I'm going to send some pictures to a builder and see what they say. So back at the offices now, we actually went and looked at those properties yesterday, so it's the following day, and I just wanted to jump on the camera and talk to you guys about my thoughts about those two houses, but also a little bit, just give you a bit of a sneak peek into my plans for growing and building my own portfolio. So starting with those two, they are really interesting. I do like them both. The first one is really quirky, really unique, which actually in the property world, I really don't like. When it's unusual, when it's not normal, when there aren't many similar properties around, that is a red flag for me, okay? And when we drove down the street that property was on, I just thought to myself, there's nothing else like it. It would be very hard to gauge what the end value would be. Now, there was another 5-bedroom detached house that was sold for about £300,000, but it was slightly bigger and it was a much nicer property, big Victorian bay windows. It looked really nice, and even if we did this property, the first property up to a really good standard, I don't think we'd get that price, and it's already on for 200,000. I think the end value on this is about 250 to 270. So we need to be picking it up for about £150,000, which actually I will still offer that. I just don't think we're going to get it. Based on my knowledge of the agent, based on my conversation with the seller, I don't think we're going to get 150, but I will always put the offer forward. Now the second property, that one really interests me. I really like the look of that one, and actually we've already put an offer forward on it. Right, okay. Possible to put forward 127 and a half. Try and kind of meet halfway at least. Yeah, I'd want to have another quick glance over it, because it felt like the viewing was a little bit rushed. So I just want to make sure we go in, because there's no floor plans and there's not pictures of everything. So I just want to go back in again and make sure we get a floor plan together, so we can get some plans drawn up and get a builder in. Things just little bits like that. But yeah, no. Other than that, I'm all good to go. It's great. Thank you very much. Thanks very much. All right, take care. Second house. The offer, I've just put forward an offer. They basically said that it will be accepted. 127 and a half. I'm thinking we'll probably need to spend about 20 grand on it, just to kind of fix it up, but I'll get a builder in to have a look at that. And then we should be good to go to rent it out. So yeah, that could be my first property that I rent out as a buy-to-let. I really like the look of it as a HMO property. Now, as I said, just to jump into a bit of my plans for this year and what I want to be doing in terms of building up a portfolio. As a lot of you will know, so far every property that I've ever bought, I've sold. I buy and sell, I trade properties, I renovate them and then sell them. Now I'm in a position that I'm looking to potentially start buying and holding. Now, for a lot of people, that's really strange, because interest rates have just gone up and there's not actually a lot of people looking to buy properties to add to their portfolio as rentals. Now, I'm going against the grain for a couple of reasons. The first one being that Warren Buffett says when other people are scared, you should be greedy. When other people are being greedy, you should be scared. Now, a lot of people are running scared at the minute. They're not buying properties. And so I want to be jumping on this opportunity to be picking up below market value properties, getting significant discounts and getting really good property deals under my belt. Now, there's also the fact that while interest rates have gone up, we are looking to build a property portfolio not based on normal market rates and the standard portfolio building practice. I'm actually exploring the idea of working with social housing providers. So this would be picking up a property and renting it to a social housing provider on a long-term lease, guaranteed rent, no voids, no maintenance, which significantly helps, especially when you're looking at things like HMO properties. So I don't know 100% whether this one particularly will work. I've already sent it off to our contact at the Housing Association. Now, if you don't know what a housing association is, it's usually a not-for-profit, it's a charity, or it's like a local council. And these are people who, or organisations, councils that lease properties from landlords on a guaranteed rental basis, and then they rent it out to tenants, and they put vulnerable people in there. Now, they get paid directly from the government. They get contracts from the government where they get paid a significant amount of money to care for people, for vulnerable adults and in some cases teenagers as well. And they will then pay landlords a percentage of that to then use their property and provide that housing for those people. So one, there's a bit of a purpose behind it, there's a bit of mission behind it. I really want to help house vulnerable people for a number of different reasons, but that's something that's really close to my heart. But two, there's a lot of profit to be made in it, and also, like I've already mentioned, they lease those properties from you, so it's like a rent-to-rent deal where the charity might lease it from you for 7 years, completely passive, no voids, no maintenance, no management costs, just a guaranteed rent every single month. That for me is very interesting. I'm not keen on jumping into being a landlord, that's just not what I want to do. However, something like this is very, very appealing to me. Now, I also want to help other people, so this is another service that I want to bolt on to our property sourcing business. So if you are looking at building up a property portfolio and you want it to be as hands-off as possible and you like the sound of social housing, I want to take a few people on board and really help scale up their portfolios as quickly as possible with social housing providers. We worked for a number of years now connecting with social housing providers, and we've got such a great relationship with them. I really want to partner with purpose-driven, purpose-minded investors. If that's you, click the link in the description so you can sign up to our mailing list, and we're going to start sending out a bunch of properties where you can buy them, discounted, below market value, but also we can help you get those contracts in place where you get those guaranteed rents. So that's something I'm looking to do over the coming weeks, months, and even years, and I really want to help as many other people to do that as possible. So if you're interested in building a social housing portfolio where you're going to be buying properties and renting them out on guaranteed leases, then make sure you click the link in the description and you can sign up to our mailing list. I'd love to be able to work with you. Hopefully we can connect soon.